开箱婆罗洲。
欢迎收听这一期的开箱婆罗洲。你好，我是 Celes 美玲。那这一期的节目呢，我自己本身其实是非常期待的，因为我们就知道来自古晋的音乐才子 Alvin Wee 最近就凭着迪斯尼动画片 Encanto 魔法满屋荣获好莱坞2022年美国电影音响协会 CAS 所颁发的杰出混音奖，为砂拉越争光。那年纪轻轻的他也是第一位获得这个奖项的大马人。那今天的节目就非常荣幸邀请到了 Alvin， 通过越洋连线远在加州洛杉矶的他，和我们分享他的创作历程。所以欢迎 Alvin， Welcome Alvin for joining us today.
Thank you. 大家好。
Yeah, because before the interview start, we actually have a little bit chit chat with Alvin, and I just learned that Alvin actually can understand Mandarin, right? But just that maybe not that fluent. So after this, we were still conducting this interview mainly in English. So 首先就是要先恭喜你获得这个奖项，为我国争光，耶！
谢谢你。
Yeah.
Thank you.
So how do you feel right now? You know, like since the announcement of the award, so maybe it's already passed by a few days. So could you share with us about your feeling now?
Well, I mean, when they announced, I have to say, like, I was very like 非常高兴. I was very happy that my team won. I also like, because I'm so like, I feel like I'm very part of like, being a Malaysian. Like this is a very good win for the Malaysians who like want to do this, and like I feel very proud to be able to do this and show that like our people at home can also do this at this level.
So from the time you knew you nominated for the CAS Outstanding Achievement Award in sound mixing, how do you perceive this incident?
Well, I mean, the first thing was I never thought that I would be even nominated, or like I never even thought that like I feel like it's just like Malaysians and like people. I grew up in Malaysia, so like all of us, we grew up like we just like our parents will say, like 要努力读书, then like you go that you have to be nice to people and you do all this. So like all I was doing was just that, this is just me working hard at something that I'm good at, and I'm very, very happy to be recognized by the CAS.
Okay, and we also learned that other than this nomination, Encanto has actually earned other Academy Award nominations, including Best Original Score for Oscar. So was wondering, how do you join the Disney animated film Encanto's team in producing and mixing the soundtrack?
Well, the soundtrack is divided into like two parts, right? You have the orchestral part and the song, right? The song is very popular and we all know that, and they have their own producer there. And the music, like the score, which is like the orchestra and like the music underneath that ties the movie together. That's like that part, they call it the original score. The composer, her name is Jermaine Franco, and she's one of the person who gave me my very first chances in Hollywood. She gave me my first movie to mix. And she wrote and produced the score for Encanto, and so she asked me, do you want to mix this? Like she said, like I would like you to mix this, do you want to do it? I'm like, yeah, of course. This is a big it's a big like
it's a good opportunity.
Yeah. So because of that, that's how I got involved. It's from her, and then from the people who won the CAS award with me, David Boucher, who like he does the sound mixing for the songs. He's also my friend, and like he was like, you are the right person to do this. So I had the support of everyone, and I was very like grateful.
So how long have you been working with the team?
I started like officially last July. So like July, August, September. So like 3 months I worked with the whole team. I didn't work with like, because there's also the sound effects and like the background, the dialogue, like I didn't do any of that, right? Because the team is so big. So the people who do that, like they're doing it in a separate, like they have their own studio. I have my own studio. So like I do the music in my own studio, then I do the dialogue in the studio. And then there's a guy, Dave Fleur, he then combined everything together at the end.
Okay, that's interesting to know. You ever to work with a big team, and it's really a good opportunity to learn. And knowing you have involved in soundtrack production for different kind of productions, like including documentary, TV series, and even video games. So could you share with us about your job scope as a mixer?
It's very fun. I don't like it's not often I get to like talk about it, because like you're behind the scenes, no one sees you.
That's why
you're in the
actually ordinary people or those who are not in this field, they're actually quite curious, what does the mixer do?
So like like when the orchestra plays, right, like someone when you hear it, you only hear it once. And the thing is, if you want to hear it again, you need to like record it. So people put microphones all around and then they record everything. And then like, it's not like you just record and then like that goes from the recording into the movie. Because between the recording into the movie, sometimes they record the orchestra and they're like, oh, maybe I want to add guitar, or like maybe, like let's say like there's some lyric that they want to add. Or like they want to add drums or something and they don't record together. So then they record some other place, or they record different time. So maybe like when you put it together, like you play it on top of each other, it might not play together because they're not in the same room. So my job is to combine this thing and make it sound like they all play together.
Basically just combine and making it complete.
Yes.
Okay. So that would be very interesting. Would you feel what's the challenges you face during like mixing all the soundtrack?
I think the hard part is like obviously not like sometimes I always think of like mixing as like cooking. It's like you 炒饭, right? Like you put the rice, like you got the ingredients. So you get the ingredients, you chop it up, you put into the guali, you put the rice, you put your egg, you put your oil. But then if you put like, let's say you put your soy sauce or you put your chili, you don't want it to be too spicy, you don't want it to be too salty, you don't want it to be too sweet, you don't want it to be too bitter. So the challenge for me is always finding that balance, right? Like, if you go and eat 炒饭 somewhere, like it's gonna be like tasty, but like not too salty, not too sweet, not too anything. So the balance, I think that's the challenge for me.
But I guess you quite enjoy in this process, like keep exploring and overcome all the challenges.
So a lot of experimentation. I like to like try things out.
So I was wondering what sparks your interest in this industry, like since you are young, you're actually interested with it, or
since I'm young, actually, back in Kuching, when I first started, I play guitar, I play bass, and I play in a lot of bands. Like I played with some orchestra in Kuching. I also play with some singer-songwriter, and then like so I was like very interested in like I think they call it arranging music. So but I don't have like arranging, like you can use paper and pen, but like I want people to be able to hear me, like or hear what I do at the end, right? So if I just arrange, no one's gonna hear it unless like you play it back in like Instagram or like Spotify or something. So I was like, I have to learn how to record, right? Because like if I don't record, then like I don't know how to capture this, and nobody can hear it. So then I start learning how to record and how to mix, and then I learned that so this is the part of the music where like after I write the song, how do I present it to the listener? And that's why I was very interested.
Okay. So are you pursuing the related academic in the US?
Yes, I was. Well, I did writing, contemporary writing and production, which is like, you learn to write for like big band, write for orchestra, learn to write for band or whatever. And then I also pursue what they call music production and engineering, which is what I'm doing now. You learn to record, you learn to mix, you learn to produce, you learn to work with songwriters, you learn to work with singers. And then like, the singer come into the room, and then like I'm trying to record them, but they're like, let's say they, maybe like maybe a little xiao, like, like a little shy, like they're a little quiet. Yeah. So it's my job to like, don't worry, it's okay. We'll record it, and if it's not good, we can take it again. Make them feel comfortable. It's kind of like just getting the best performance out of it.
Okay. So you have been actually working or based in US, especially Los Angeles, for like 11 years. So what does it feel like to pursue your dream in a foreign country?
I think I really like being in LA as much as I miss home in Kuching a lot. I think I like it here. Yeah, my LA is my second home. But I still miss home. People there are nicer. People there, like they're nicer because I connect to them. I understand them. Like talking to you makes me feel very happy.
Thanks.
Yeah. I'm very yeah. And like it feels great to be able to do this, but also I think it's important to acknowledge that if I don't have the support of my papa mama, I think I wouldn't have come out here. And I feel very proud that they support me, and I think that I want to always do my best for everyone, So I'm very happy here, but also like I feel so much of a connection back home that I want to do both, make people proud.
Yeah, as I think you're just trying to gain as much experience and exposure in US. Yeah. So knowing you drew on influences and growing up with traditional music in Sarawak and Malaysia, according to your previous interview with Borneo Post. So would you try to also incorporate these local elements in your production?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. I think Hollywood in general is always looking for very new sounds, very interesting music, like they're all looking for fresh things. And like, I think there's a lot of like collaboration between like the East and West now with like Korean K drama and like, like even Chinese productions and like even like, Thai films and Japanese films kind of cross over between Hollywood and that. So they're always looking for new sounds. And my goal is to bring more local instruments from Sarawak and Malaysia into Hollywood productions. So I'm trying to bring the sape here. I'm trying to bring the seruling here, the gendang.
Sound of Borneo.
Yeah, the sound of Borneo. And like I work like I did a lot of Kung Fu Panda stuff, so I recorded a lot of pipa and like guzheng and erhu. And so I work with a lot of that. And even the ruan and like the yangqing guqing, like I record a lot of that here.
All the Chinese instrument.
All the Chinese instrument, yeah, because I know how that sounds because I worked with a Chinese orchestra in Kuching before, so I know how it sounds. I know how to produce it, and I know how to mix it into the music here. Like in Mulan, there was a lot of guqing and like ruan, and like there's the lower ruan, So I I want to add and bring my own personality, bring my own sound into Hollywood.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, like from your impressive portfolio, like we learned that you are also a producer, like produce songs for singers like Ziavi, and also produce award-winning Arena Cahaya. And you also
Yeah.
produce songs for Disney Mulan, Kung Fu Panda 3, Final Fantasy, and so on. So which project would be the most memorable project so far?
I'm very proud of Arena Cahaya with ZRV, honestly, and Rendra. You know, like Rendra is one of the first persons who like gave me my first chance. You know, he brought me out to do Malaysian project with ZRV, and you know, I was very grateful for them to bring me to Taiwan and to perform with Z at the the Jingmajiang. And that one holds very dear in my heart because it's like, you know, one of the very first few chances I get to work with Malaysian musicians, and also like one of my musical heroes, you know, like and ZRV and Rendra are people who I respect a lot, and I'm still very grateful to be able to work with them and make that happen.
Yeah. So talking about producing the soundtrack, you know, or mixing the soundtrack. So what were your inspirations while working on those soundtrack?
You know, I grew up watching Superman, like the 1970s Superman. So that soundtrack is like one of my favorite soundtrack. Star Wars, the original Star Wars is also one of my favorite soundtrack. And obviously, like I grew up listening to rock bands, you know. So like a lot of rock songs and a lot of like 1990s pop songs are my inspiration. So every time I try to mix or if I'm producing, I would listen to that kind of music as like my inspiration to make sure it sounds like just like how I hear it, you know.
Okay. But like when producing a soundtrack, it also depends on what kind of production you are working with, right? Let's say if it's documentary, or let's say if it's video games, you also have to depend on the genre or the kind of things you are working with.
I think like, you know, it depends. Like if it's a horror movie or like if it's an action movie, it's gonna be very different, right? Because you want to make sure that you feel like horror movie, you want to be scared of the, you know, of the scene. Or like action movie, you want to feel like, oh my god, like is the plane gonna fall? Like or like if it's love song, then you want to make it like, you know, I feel in love, and you know. So I think like the biggest part is the emotion. As long as I get the emotion of it, I think that's the important part.
Then what kind of other preparation would you do while producing music or soundtrack?
Well, I think, you know, there's two parts. For like songs, there's a thing called pre-production, where it's like, you know, when you write songs, like your lyrics, or when you write chords and all that, that's pre-production. So there's a lot of time. You can spend weeks to months to years. And so then, like, you know, sometimes you kind of write one song and then like you move on to the next, and then you move on to the next, and you come back and you start, you know, tweaking. With film, there is like a schedule. So when you go into the production of the score, I go do a lot of research. Like, you know, like for Encanto, I have to go read about Colombia. I have to study their music, listen and understand like how they, you know, like, because their music is as important to them. Like they have their own instrument, they have their own version of like Yangqing. They have their own version of like, you know, pipa. Like they have all that, you know, like every culture has their own thing. So I want to make sure that it sounds correct and it sounds like it's from Colombia.
So you have to even trace back the history and the culture. How are they?
So studying and reading about the history and culture is very important.
Wow, that's really, I mean, a lot of hard work that, you know, people who are not involved in it, they actually don't really know it. So talking back, you know, maybe moving back to the context of Malaysia, since you have been working in the US for like many years, so looking back in context of Malaysia, what else can be improved in the creative industry here?
I think we just need to support our people. We should definitely like, we should, you know, like if our friends want to be a opera singer, if our friends, like, you know, like I have some friends who want to be actor, or our friend want to be painter, or like set designer or cinematographer. We should I think just as as a community, we should always support them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like not say, oh, like that's just that's just a dream or whatever. Like we should find ways to say, oh, maybe you can do that, or maybe you can go here, or maybe you can go there. I think we should also help like these people who like want to pursue these things with like, obviously with financial assistance is always helpful. Like say, you can go study, yeah, we'll help you. If you want to be a radio presenter, we'll help you, like this is what you do. Or if you want to go here, we'll help you. I think, like all these kind of programs to help like music and arts, that public programs, I think is very important. And I think the more we do it, I think the more we'll see people out in the world.
Mm-hmm. So I think providing a platform for the artists is also very important for people to listen to their work.
Yeah.
And then speaking of, the pandemic time now, what will be the challenges you face during pandemic? As a lot of performance are being put on hold, and sometimes you might need to work remotely with your team. So how are you dealing with all these challenges?
Well, I think I'll give you an example. Like, I have to record this pipa player, and she's like a very, very, she's a very good pipa player, but she cannot go into the recording studio. So what we do is like I have to build a recording equipment rig, and then we mail it to her house. We send it to her in San Diego. Like it's like it's like if you live in Kuching and like she lives in like Miri, it's like a 3-hour like drive. Like it's very far. So we send the machine to her, then we connect to Wi-Fi. We connect to her Wi-Fi, and then I'm in LA. So on LA, I was like on my machine, like trying to connect and record her from LA. So that's one of the challenges of like working, But we recorded it. It's very beautiful. I mixed everything. The music can be heard in Universal City Beijing. So if you go to Universal City Beijing, they have this big, like they call it a peach tree there. It's a it's a big tree, and there's a lot of music. You hear music all day there, and there's like season music. So there's summer, spring, and fall, and all that. So that music I mixed, and so like that was done during the pandemic. And so not only that was that recorded there, some other friend had to record in their place, and they sent it to me. So then this is where like mixing is very important, I think, is that, or like the production of it is very important, is that you cannot be in the same room as someone. So you have to trust that the mixer can put all this together so they sound like they're in the same room.
Yeah. And also, from your sharing just now, also realize that technology plays an important part as well. Because, without the internet, the Wi-Fi, then really couldn't deliver all the product.
Exactly. So now, computer is very important. Technology is very important.
So what's next after this? Like, or is there any other work that you are currently doing?
Yeah, I got a couple of songs coming out in Malaysia soon, this year. So stay, follow me on, stay tuned. Follow me on Instagram or wherever. Just say hi. Come say hi to me. I always like chatting with people. My Instagram is Wee the Walrus, WEE the Walrus. Or the next thing coming out is Top Gun. So Top Gun is, but I did Top Gun so long ago. So I was not the main mixer. I was like the assistant, but I got to work on it. It's a very very fun movie. That's one coming out in May in France. It's going to Cannes Festival. And then other than that, I've got a documentary called Look at Me on Hulu. It's about a American rapper who accidentally got shot and he died. So they're just telling his story. And that's the rest you have to stay tuned, because there's a lot of very fun stuff coming out that I'm gonna be able to share very soon.
We're really looking forward to it. And sure. Come to the end of the interview. Anything you would like to share with the people who are also in the same industry as you?
Well, I hope everyone keeps doing this. I encourage everyone to try, do more of it, and reach out to me if I can help. I will always help. I think we're all a big family, and keep going. Like be bold. Just take those steps, and then I think it will help the industry. It will help the people you're working with. It will help yourself. And if you if you believe in yourself and you show it to people, it will start becoming reality.
Just have to take the first step, right? Don't
Yeah,
just
take
keep those ideas in mind, but have to do it.
Yeah.
So 今天真的很开心邀请到 Alvin 来到节目和我们分享了这么多这个创作的历程，然后也期待 Alvin 的新作品，希望下一次呢还有机会再次邀请到 Alvin 和我们分享他的新作品，也希望收听这个节目的你呢有所收获。谢谢 Alvin， Thank you Alvin for joining us today.
Thank you，谢谢你。